Well, greetings everyone, and welcome once again to another Tuesday evening of the Pugilist Corner, brought to you by the Dog Pound. Oh man, let's get our little commercials out of the way. As you can see, I am James E. King III, on Twitter known as West Coast Steeler Fan, and on our Cash App, $ JE King 3. You can catch us on Facebook or you can catch us on YouTube. Subscribe, donate to the channel, and hey, sit back and enjoy the show. We already have our first guest in Miss Malissa Smith uh, at Girl Boxing. Melissa, how you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you, James? So
Oh,
nice to see you.
I am doing great. I'm out here in California. Like I said, the weather couldn't be better here in San Diego. So, you know, I'm blessed. I'm above ground. I'm good.
That's excellent.
uh, so, how have things been in your neck of the woods?
I'm good. Brooklyn's awesome. We've had some beautiful fall weather. It's been a little cold the last couple of days, but we expect it to be warm. And then I'm flying into Las Vegas on Thursday for the ninth International Women's Boxing Hall of Fame induction event. So that'll be fantastic.
Oh, okay. Now, wow, you threw that curveball at me. Now, we have to know a little bit more about it. So,
Well, and it's all about women's boxing, right? This weekend
well,
has just been
let's
crazy.
see. Uh, Girl boxing now. Let's see. Why would it be about women's boxing? You know, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah. So, before we talk about that, the last time we talked to you, you were starting a new project.
I am. I have started a second book with Roman and Littlefield as the publisher, and it will be covering the 10 years in boxing, women's boxing, from 2012 to 2022, which has seen extraordinary change in the sport with the rise of such brilliant fighters as Clarissa Shields, who everybody knows, shook up the world this weekend and became the true GOAT, and of course Katie Taylor, among other fighters who really shown excellence, and have, through their determination and brilliance, moved the sport forward.
Yeah, very exciting card. Everyone was talking about this card before, and we had a little bit of everything. We had a little drama.
Mhm.
Little sexy costumes there, and I mean, hey, everything you could ask for in a fight. I think I saw Eddie blush a couple times there. I'm not sure. You did.
Well, yeah, when you get Alicia Baumgartner, who's a gorgeous woman, and at the weigh-in, I think her costume was about an inch wide, but she got the body for it. So what the heck? When all fighters come in for the weigh-in, they weigh as little as you can. Um, I don't know how women feel about watching men in their little speedos, but I think men certainly got a show, and women who are so inclined got quite a show when Baumgartner in particular came out in her outfit. But weigh-ins aside, it was all about the fighting, and to your point, the ring walks really were exciting. Um, each was different. Each was had a showed a lot of personality and fun. Um, Michaela Mayer came out to Spice Girls. I was like, really, Spice Girls? Okay. And
Well, at least nobody came out in a Deontay Wilder mask. I mean,
no, nobody had a mask. Nobody was carried in on a litter. I mean, we were not in Mayweather territory. I mean, let's face it. Even though women did very well at the top of the card, Clarissa Shields made seven figures. That's still Mayweather's bar bill. You know, so let's get real here. But it was,
at least his detailing bill, anyway. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you
exactly.
got to get the cars washed. I mean, come
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I mean,
you know.
you could only like tip money,
Yeah, yeah.
just tip money. but more seriously, it was a phenomenal card. And it, the top of the card was Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall, who Savannah Marshall being the only fighter to have ever defeated Clarissa in a boxing match, amateur or professional. And she fought like 80 amateur fights, and she's 13-0 as a pro, right? So that's quite something. So there was a long rivalry, but and Savannah came into the fight with a reputation as a KO artist. Out of her 12 fights, she's had something like 10 KOs. Clarissa is has 2 KOs in her career. When she was 12-0, she's now 13-0. But the difference in who they fought, I think at some point Clarissa was in an interview and she's like, well, let's look at this. All right, tomato can, tomato can, tomato can. Who did I fight? She started out fighting Franchon Cruz, who to this day, even after the Marshall fight said, oh yeah, Marshall hit hard, but it's not Cruz. It's not Franchon.
Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Franchon was serious. Like, whoa. Okay, so Clarissa, that's just how she fights. She's just a brilliant flash and has so many levels to her game that it was astounding to watch her and to watch how she manipulated Marshall in the ring in the first 5 rounds. 6th round, Shields got hit pretty hard in the right eye.
Right.
Couldn't see for a while. Ended up on the ropes, but was, it wasn't rope-a-dope, but she figured out how to get out of there. She was countering all the time, even though her corner was going, get the fuck off the ropes. Get off the ropes. Not where you want to be. But she knew how to fight. And when at some point, I don't know if it was the 6th or 7th round, Savannah had cut her a little bit. She's like, you got to cut. And as Shields after the fight was like, yeah, right. Okay. I've had one before. Boom. She just was not going to lose that fight. And she was never going to give Savannah the opportunity to knock her out. And she didn't the entire fight. Savannah was never close to that. Clarissa did not make those kind of mental mistakes. She was in the fight from the second the bell rang in the first round to the end of the 10th. She never stopped fighting. Her output was insane in terms of the number of fights she number of punches she threw and how accurate her punching was. And that she was really a phenomenal.
Malissa, to me, Clarissa has always been rather economical with her punches. She doesn't do a lot of swinging, wild swinging, and but as you said, it seems like her technique. Now, how much of that do you contribute to John David?
A lot. I mean, look, when you look at how she fought in her early fights as a pro, she had a lot of emotion in her fights. She would swing. She'd be swinging for the bleachers, to use a baseball team. I mean, she'd wing, and she'd get very emotional in her work. She learned how to be calm in the ring, to not be emotional, and she is not an emotional fighter. She may get mad. She may she'll counter if she thinks that you're in her world. But it's not from emotion. She has learned to control herself. She knows who she is every second of every fight. And she will not let anybody goad her into those kind of mental mistakes. She may get surprised, but she's not going to react emotionally to that surprise. And that's been the case for 5, 6, 7 of her fights.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Now, there were 3 fights, right? We saw 2, but there were actually 3, right?
No, the card had 6 or 7 fights.
No.
That we saw 4 or 5. I can tell you in a minute. Just give me a second. I'll bring it up. We saw Shields. We saw the Karis Artingstall fight with Marina Sakharov. We saw April Hunter, Lauren Price, and Carolyn Dubois. So we saw 5 fights. Carolyn Dubois, she was the she was the last fight before the main events, before the Baumgartner fight. She is some fighter. She's now 4-0. She comes from an old boxing family. She won silver. I think it was silver in the Olympics. She's got a really good technique. She got really the only KO of the night, TKO of the night. She had a knockdown in the 4th against her opponent Milena Koleva. She got the TKO in the 5th. But she was beautiful in the ring. In fact, I was really astounded by her poise, given the platform, and given the platform that all of these women fought on, and how poised they were, and how in the moment they were with their boxing, even given that they were in a sold out arena at the O2. And I mean, this is unheard of for a woman's card to sell out the London O2 arena.
What was it, 20, 25,000?
20,000 people live. Sky has said that they had over 2 million viewers on all their platforms. That's a lot of eyes on a female fight.
A lot of eyes. I
A
mean,
lot of eyes, and
two
they
years ago, we would not have said, if
no,
you had said, like there was going to be this boxing card in 2022. I mean,
no.
it's just been barely more than 2 years since Top Rank has featured women.
Exactly. Again, after all those years, and here's the thing, Taylor Serrano, which was April 30th, and headed the top of the card at Madison Square Garden, sold out that arena, 20,000 people on DAZN. Now, DAZN had at that time 1.5 million eyes, and they were like, "This is the largest number of
Right.
viewers of any women's event." So here we are. It's 6 months plus later, and we've increased that by 500,000 people. That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people now.
Now, I to Sky's credit, and they really are all in on this. I mean, they went all in. They spent a lot of money on promotion. They really wanted this to work. And they, usually when they do boxing matches, it's just on their subscription boxing platform. They opened it up. They put it on mainline Sky. That's in over 150 countries. They also put the parts of the undercard, including Michaela Mayer and Alicia Baumgartner, on YouTube. They showed that for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they gave it, and Boxer and Sky gave it to the BBC to rebroadcast today. So they rebroadcast the fight today, because there was so much interest in the United Kingdom. I mean, they are all in on women's boxing, I got to tell you. And next week, in 2 weeks, Natasha Jonas will be fighting at 154 pounds. She's a boxer fighter. Boxer is the promotion company. She'll be the main event in Manchester. She'll be fighting Maria Abdikar, who's a belt holder for 154. Natasha Jonas is a belt holder for 154. They're fighting for unification. This, by the way, is the division that Claressa Shields held as undisputed before she jumped to middleweight. And she already defeated Maria Abdikar. So it's great stuff happening in UK.
When do you think we'll, like we talked about earlier, we have had women headline Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
You just mentioned where you were going.
Yep.
Is Vegas next?
One would hope. One would hope. I mean, the thing is, look, Bob, if we look at what happened in the lead up to the Taylor Serrano main event at Madison Square Garden, Bob Arum was like, "Oh, fuck that." that women can't sell tickets. Well, now he had Shakur Stevenson the same night, so it's like, even though those times were not going to conflict, right? Because his fight was out in Las Vegas, this fight was in New York, 3 hours difference. It's like, women can't sell tickets. What are they, crazy? No. Yamini, 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 yamini. Okay, sell out Madison Square Garden, 1.5 million eyes on DAZN. All of a sudden, he is all in. He is a partner on this card with Michaela Mayer, his girl, right? Now, Alicia Baumgardner is managed by Eddie Hearn at Matchroom. So you got 3 different groups here. Now, on the men's side, you'd still be talking about a fight 5 years from now. I mean, have we seen Errol Spence and Crawford yet? No. But here you got the best fighting the best across promotions, right? Across networks. So Arum goes all in. He even goes to London for the original fight night, which was September 8th. The Queen died. They had to postpone it. I do not believe he was there. I think they just couldn't arrange it. But ESPN was all in. I cannot tell you the packages they produced, the interviews they produced, the show they put on for the American side was excellent. And according to Ben Shalom, who's the president of Boxer, the promotion company, he was sitting next to the guy from ESPN who was saying it was crazy to see the number of viewers who were tuning in as the night went on for the Shields Marshall fight on ESPN Plus. This is just a streaming platform. It was higher than Haney Cambosis.
Yeah, it was. I'm a Plus subscriber. I can tell you,
it was higher than that. The number of subscribers. So that proved a point. I mean, how shameful that it was only on this little streaming platform, but people were determined to see it. And look, in the United States, you got 2 articles in the New York Times. It was in the Washington Post. Rolling Stone magazine had a page on their website that said, here's how to view Shields Marshall. Are you kidding me? When did that ever happen? Never. So it has something that certainly proved to the people, the teams in the United Kingdom at Boxer Sky Sports. And we already know that Eddie Hearn at Matchroom and DAZN are all in on women. So we will see how this goes. It proved to Arum and to ESPN that if you put really great fights together, you're going to get the eyeballs that you're always complaining aren't there. You had Andre Ward screaming practically, well, where is it in the United States? Tim Bradley, I mean, they had the A-team announcing the fights.
Right.
So they took it seriously. Meanwhile, you had a PBC card on the same night, Wilder, yada, yada, and Plant. And was there a female fight on that card? Hell no. There never is. It's PBC. They could give a shit, And Showtime tolerates it because, hey, that's the deal. Fox tolerates it. That's the deal. So that's where we are in America. There is no HBO anymore. What do we got? They got these little tiny video platforms. You got stuff on Fight TV. You got stuff here. You got stuff there. You don't know who's fighting. You don't know when they're fighting. It gets complicated.
Yeah, it gets really complicated.
It's really tough. And but I got to tell you, with all the corruption, I'll finish my one little thought here. You got Conor Benn the week before, which was canceled because of this drugs thing. There were people who didn't even want to show up at the pressers for Shields Marshall. They were like, we're done with boxing. It's the most fucked up sport in the world, blah, 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 blah. Well, those women took their tests. Nobody was positive. And then you see Shields at some point in the locker room going, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. I got to go take my test. It's no big deal. You can be clean and box.
Anyway. Everybody doesn't eat meat from Mexico. It's just
exactly.
It's just those people out here in LA.
Yeah.
LA and down here in San Diego.
Yeah, right. And it just happened to have all these substances that our body goes crazy about.
Yeah, just don't order out. But
Yes.
now you mentioned the event that you were going to in Las Vegas.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Uh, uh, are any of the do you are you expecting any of the champions there?
Well, I mean, we got some great people that are going to be there. First of all, in terms of our speakers, we're going to have Al Bernstein is one of our featured speakers, which is really awesome. You know, he's going to be doing a speech for us, and Christy Martin is going to be there.
Okay,
Um, she will be there, and her wife Lisa Hallwayne will be accepting a lifetime achievement award for Bonnie Canino, because Bonnie and Yvonne Reese, who's being actually honored with an induction this year, is unable. They are unable to attend. So we have some great folks accepting their awards. Layla Ali cannot come this time, but she is sending a video to us to kind of welcome all of us and talk about the importance of paying it forward. Lupe Gutierrez Beagle, who is with Beautiful Brawlers up in
right,
Pacific, California, she'll be getting an award. I remember as I said, we have a lifetime achievement award to Bonnie Canino, so that's really exciting. And then in terms of our pioneers that we're recognizing, it's an all California affair. We're recognizing Darlene Buckskin and Teresa Kibbe. These are two women who are Native Americans from Northern California, who made boxing history. I mean, they're really, in the 70s era, they were the shit. They really were great boxers in California. We're on the all-female boxing cars in California. Also fought in Vegas. Pat Pineda is being honored. She will be there with us. She was the first woman to ever be licensed in the state of California in the 70s. So that's really exciting. We're honoring Brenda Spinks this year with an Outside the Ropes award. And then, of course, our inductees are an interesting mix.
do you know how old you make me feel when you talk about these women that are pioneers, and then
I
you say
know.
like
Tell me about it.
1972, and
But that's
like
life. Me
you know,
too. I'm
you
old
know,
too,
yeah.
honey. I earned all this.
Yeah.
That's why I don't cover it. It's like,
Oh,
these are
yeah.
my badge of honor.
There you go.
I
Oh,
earned the gray. But yeah, but that's really when for women's boxing. Look, I wrote about the sport from 300 years ago till today, um, but it has gone in waves. And the first big wave in America, we had a wave in the 50s, a small wave, but it gave us people like Barbara Buttrick, who was extraordinary, and all the women out of the craziest place in the world, South Bend, Indiana. Who knew they had this amazing little boxing group? But the next great wave was in the 1970s, thanks to the fight for civil rights, which, in the Civil Rights Act of 1964, at the insistence of Betty Friedan, President Johnson, Lyndon Johnson, added one little sentence that said, oh, and women must be given equal rights to employment on all contracts with the federal government. And that's where it started, that little sentence.
yeah.
So if you were a federal contractor, you could not deny a woman a job, an equal opportunity for that job. And I don't know, you will remember this because you're old enough, just as I am. When I was a young woman looking for a job, I would look in the help wanted in the newspaper, and there was help wanted women, help
Help
wanted
wanted
men.
men. Yep.
So that little sentence changed the world. And you could no longer have help wanted women, help wanted men. It was just help
Help
wanted.
wanted.
And women in the 70s went to court to sue for the right to have employment as boxers. And that's how these laws fell. Because they went to the court and they said, listen, I have the right to equal opportunity under the law for employment. And you are denying me the opportunity to have a job as a professional boxer. And that is why, by 1978, 40 out of 50 states had legalized boxing for women. Interestingly, it did not translate to the amateur sports, and it was illegal still in America until 1994 for women to box as an amateur.
Hmm.
And then AAU refused to allow women to box. There were cases, every so
Yeah.
often somebody would apply to a Golden Gloves, and they'd get chased out by the police. And even Marion Trivier, Lady Tiger,
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
first thing was an amateur match up in the Bronx, and she got chased out. That's
Yeah.
what
I
happened.
remember you telling us that
Yeah,
story. Um, I want to ask you about that Baumgartner fight, though.
yeah.
Did the right person get the decision in your
I
eyes?
in my eyes, yes. I felt that number one, coming into that fight, it was going to be Mayers to lose, and I was actually quite surprised by the first fight, half of her fight. Really, to my mind, watching her, she never really loosened up. She never got into that battle. One of the things that Mayer has is a fantastic jab. I mean, look at what she was able to do with Hamadou. She was a comforter, nasty ass fighter, but she has a beautiful jab. She's light on her feet. She has really good movement, and she's able to pivot and use a lot of different combinations, a lot of body work. She did not do that with Baumgartner. She was allowing Baumgartner to set the pace. Baumgartner was dancing in and out with a lot of flash. She was using combinations. She was pot shotting at her. She was in her head half that fight. And I, you know, it was also, it was not at the explosive fight we expected because of all the buildup to that. They were really nasty to each other. If Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields, they've been at this game a long time. They know this is all a game. Mayer and Baumgartner, it got a little personal. By the end, they were really in each other's head. And I don't think that Baumgartner ever got out of Mayer's head. And to me, it translated into the boxing game. Mayer, to me, is a better fighter technically, but Baumgartner got in her head. She did enough to me. It was close, and some of those rounds were tough to score because they both had a lot of volume of punches. But to me, it was close and in Baumgartner's favor. It was interesting to me that after the fight, there was something trending, robbery. I was like, what the hell is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And it was like, what? What are you
uh,
talking about? That was not a robbery.
Yeah, that was trending for a few, right after the fight,
Right.
robbery,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah,
But what did you see? I mean, did you think Baumgartner won?
I thought Baumgartner won.
Yeah, I did.
And I thought I didn't think it should have been a split decision, but
I didn't either.
you
Yeah.
know, I mean, I would have said that it was close, 3-4 points, but I would have never, I just,
No, 97, 93 was ridiculous for Mayer. I don't know what fight they were
right,
watching.
yeah,
That
yeah. I
was
mean,
wrong. If they were going to give her anything, it would be, 94, 95, 94, 96. Maybe you could swing that, maybe. But 97, 93 was wrong. And
no, no,
no,
yeah,
and I was disappointed in Mayer's
exit from the ring.
exit. Yeah, I was disappointed because, Shields and Marshall showed the class of a main event fight and what they were there for. Mayer and Baumgartner didn't really get the moment, and I was a little disappointed, and frankly, in both of them for that. Mayer for leaving, Baumgartner for being kind of mean about it. In terms of asked if she would give her a rematch and just say, I'm not giving that bitch that. It's like, not really the moment, honey. You are at the O2 in the biggest event ever. This is not All of that pre-fight stuff is done. This is the
Yeah.
fight now, and you won, which is amazing. Good for you. Get ratchet it back, honey. You need to learn a little bit about being at this platform at this level. Unless okay, you want to be on, Andre Bronner, go for it, but not a good look. Shields and Marshall played it out right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Well, Melissa, I want to thank you as always. I know you're up there in the city, got to go to work in the morning, and
yeah.
why don't you
Good
give
day.
us your final thoughts and tell us when the book's coming out?
Well, final thoughts are good for us to keep believing in boxing. You know, it kicks the crap out of us from time to time, but every so often we get it right, and that's a beautiful thing. And I couldn't be prouder of the women who fought. I have to tell you, honestly, I was in tears. I was in tears when the card started. I was a puddle when Clarissa won, and when she spoke, when she herself was in tears, and then speaking about what the moment really meant for the future, that like them as carrying the torch from the past into the future. I was an absolute puddle, and I remained in a puddle about it. I'm so proud of her, and to me, she truly is the GOAT, and I'm like GOAT Hive now. Don't say anything bad about her because I'm going to be GOAT Hive and just come right back at you as counter just as hard as she does. Um, anyway, I'm at Girl Boxing now. I'll be in Vegas with the honor of handing out the awards to the inductees this weekend. So I'm like, yay, yay. And writing about boxing. I'm in the throes of writing the book and interviewing folks about their view of what's happened over the last 10 years. It'll be due at the publisher in the spring, and then it gets published sometime in 2024. So keep you up to date.
All right. You have a great night, Melissa, and look
Thank you
forward to
so
talking
much,
to you again soon.
as always.
As
Ciao, pal.
always. Bye. Uh, well, that was Melissa Smith, as we all know, great boxing writer as far as the history of boxing. Right now, we had the privilege of talking with T2. Uh, where's my man? Anyway, until he gets here, Antonio Tarver Jr. Will be headlining the card in Plant City, Florida, this weekend. And there he is. There's the champ. What's going on,
What's
champ?
up,
What's
Mr.
happening?
How you doing, brother? Doing okay. I'm hanging in there.
I hear you. I hear you seem to be in great spirits.
Yes, sir, all the time.
So how did camp go? I know you just waiting. I can see you chomping at the bit now.
Yeah,
You know, but how's things going?
uh, camp is really good right now. We really got it in, me and my pops. We got it out the trenches this time. I'm feeling really, really sharp. I'm looking forward to putting on a wonderful performance on Tarver Promotions. So yeah, we ready to go.
So now, how long have you been in camp, and who's your opponent?
I don't know much about my opponent. I've been in camp about 8 weeks now, and I'm feeling good and great. But I don't know much about him. But in the first round, I do my assessment, and then after that, we'll start putting them hands on him.
Oh, okay, well, so I can come watch this. It's gonna go at least 2 rounds.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It all depends. We don't get overtime.
I mean, well, I understand. That's what I was saying. Should I get my popcorn out? Should I,
Now
or should I get some potato chips and a can of soda? 'Cause that's about how long it's gonna last.
you might want to get some potato chips and a can of soda, because
Oh, okay, all
yeah, I'm trying to get him out of there. I'm just gonna let. But he's tough. I heard he's a tough opponent. I think he's 21 and 23, something like that. So he got 50 fights altogether. So he's a veteran. I'm only 9-0. So if I have to break my opponent down, then that's what I look forward to. But I'm ready for 8 rounds. for sure.
Okay. How's your training camp down there been? I know it has to be. Uh, how long have you been in Florida itself? I know you had the hurricane and stuff like that. Did it set your training back? Are you on
Not at all.
time?
Not at all. We was pretty good over here. Where I was at, in a certain area, I was pretty good. We didn't, maybe lost a little power here and there, but it wasn't too much where I couldn't train, get my work in.
Okay. Now, did you make any changes in your diet? Did you increase your cardio? Without giving away too much, but I mean,
I do it right all the time. I try to eat right, make sure that I always do my sprints and cardio. I add a little swimming into it this time, and a little bit of yoga. I
Okay.
add that into it so I keep my flexibility. But it's pretty much the same routine. Just staying sharp, staying ready. My dad always pushing me hard. Uh, we'll be ready for whatever he got to come, whatever he brings to the table.
Now, I heard we have some other members of your company on also them Robinson boys. And I saw some, a few tapes of y'all working out and whatnot. So how was the sparring? And is it hard when you guys are all so close? It seems to be.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to spar them just yet, but I know those guys are ready. They looking really sharp right now. The Robinson boys, I'm glad they with the family. So I look forward to them putting on a hellified show and looking very sharp. I'm gonna get with them sometime, probably tomorrow, sometime this year.
Now, how did y'all form this team? I mean, did you know each other before through the amateurs, or kind of like by word of mouth? How did you guys, how did you guys decide to become Team Tarver?
Man, we me and my dad was working on this from the beginning. We've been our first show was in August, April 9th, and ever since then, man, we've been kind of scouting those boys and trying to figure out, hey, could we bring some light to their career, and that's what we're trying to do each and every day with all these young fighters. But those two guys are very special, and then they got a little brother that's I heard really nasty. So we just trying to put those guys in the right position and make sure that they're good to go.
Yeah, like I said, you watch them, you watch the maturity of them and you, and you can't see nothing but great days ahead. Now, uh, let's talk a little bit about out of the ring. What's some of the things that you prefer to do now? You got a cool down period, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I know most of y'all boxers, like you fight on Saturday and you want to get back in the gym on Monday, but it don't quite work like that sometimes. So how do what's your post fight workout like? What I mean, do you get back down there and like some of them things that you wanted before the fight? Like maybe you get that one big meal, or how do you celebrate those wins?
Oh man, I like to eat. I ain't gonna say I like to eat, man. Like chicken wings, Oreos, but what I'm doing different now is I'm getting a little older. That doesn't mean anything, but you just gotta take care of your body a little different. So now,
It means it's a little harder to take that weight off. That's what.
uh, it's a little hard sometimes. We get it, I sweat like crazy, so I make weight pretty, but no, for the most part, I eat a lot of food. I like to spend time with my two little kids. I got a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old, 2-year-old girl and a 7-year-old son. And I like to spend a lot of time with them. Take them around. We take little trips. After the fight. But we're trying to make a big bang this year. Trying to come back in December after this fight and get another one, and we're looking for a TV fight. So this time around, we're not really taking any time off. We're getting right back to it. I'll be getting a 3 miles run in, maybe like 2 days after the fight, and just staying consistent. That's the most important thing right now in my career. I'm trying to stay consistent. So by the time those big guys want some smoke, we'll be ready for them. But yeah, definitely changing up this time around.
Well, I gotta ask. I mean, now you say you got 2 little ones. Uh, now, who's the man? Grandpa or Junior?
It's always my 2 kids. Just get it right now. Don't get it twisted. He's definitely a great part, though. I can say that. But yeah, I'm pops always. We spend a lot of time together, so that's the most important thing to me. But we're gonna take over this boxing game pretty soon. I can tell you that much. Tarver Promotions and T2 and those Robinson boys, so they better get ready.
Hey man, nothing but love for you, man. I know, you got a real short week, so I'm not gonna keep you too long. So tell us your social media, man, and anywhere that we can find you, and oh, where's the where is the event, and where's the ticket sales? How can we get tickets? Come on, man. We're here to promote the fight, man.
Oh
Come
yeah,
on.
absolutely. No, you're right. TarverPromotions.com. You get your tickets there. Come out, man. We got hella talent, man. It's gonna be crazy. Great fight. We got everybody like Ricardo Graham. He's a great fighter, up and coming. We got Eddie. He's coming up, and the Robinson boys. We got a hell of a card. So just come out. Tarvin Promotions putting on a hell of a show. It started about 7 o'clock. So just come out, get your tickets, man. Everything on the website. Please go there and get your tickets. Come out anywhere in the surrounding areas, Tampa, Florida. Come out. T2 is putting on a show. I can promise you, I'm in the night beautifully.
All right, boss. Well, hey, the only thing I want to do, let's see, the fight's on the 22nd.
Yep, October 22nd.
Okay, well, I'm gonna ask your promoter, because I'm assuming, like you say, you don't get paid for overtime.
Yeah.
So we should see you bright and shiny, the 24th.
22nd.
No, I'm talking about the interview after the fight.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about that.
Got with that one. Got me with that one, man. No, yeah, definitely. And I definitely come back and give you a lot more time. This is kind of like my downtime right now, but I get back to you, man. And yeah, we come back on the 24th, maybe the 25th. I got something going on around that time, but
it'll be on a Tuesday. So if you're fighting on the 22nd, it might be like the 26th or something like that. But anyway, I'll get with you because hey, I already know what's going down. Hey, I'm down with T2. So hey, bro.
Baby, because we about to have some fireworks and it's gonna be electrifying, man. It's time for T2 to activate, and we're gonna do that October 22nd. So come out and get your tickets. Follow me on Antonio Tarver at Instagram and all other social media websites. Come check me out, baby. I love y'all fans. Keep supporting me. Keep supporting Tarver Promotions. And look, we getting these young guys on and popping. So hey, anybody want some smoke with Tarver Promotions? We ready.
All right, boss. I'll be talking to you very soon.
All right,
you have a great one.
Have a good one, brother. Have a blessed.
All right.
God bless.
All right. God bless. I see Mr. Art Brad is down here. He think he's gonna try to sneak in and out, but that ain't happening. What's going on, Art? Unmute that mic. There you go.
Hey James, how's it going?
What's going on, man? I see you trying to sneak down there in the audience. What's happening?
Hey man, I just wanted to come in and check out you guys talk and support T2. Like you said, October 22nd, we got a big event planned, and it's gonna be really something special to watch. The Robinson boys are making their debut here in Florida, And T2, of course, is the headliner. So you already know what's going down.
All right, boss. Well, I just wanted to check in with you guys and make sure, that we can promote the fight properly here and everywhere else. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and hey, bro, I wish y'all much luck.
Thank you, brother. We really appreciate you, man, and all that you do. And you keep it moving. And we really enjoy and love that. So you keep doing your thing, man.
Hey, bro, I got another 26 years. Y'all gonna see me till I'm 101, so you might as well get used to it. So I'm gonna ride you all the way to the championship. I'm gonna be like one of them bull riders. I'm not going nowhere. All
Hey,
right,
that's
bro.
what it is.
All right, bro. You have a good night, man. We'll talk soon after the fight. Yeah, that was Mr. Art Brad. Real quick, uh, interview there with T2, knowing that he's getting ready for the fight. We expect to have T2, Robinson boys, all of them on back celebrating after the fight. Uh, like I said, I think that would be like October the 26th, I believe. So look on our Facebook page and the Dog Pound, the Pugilist Corner, the Weekend Wrap, and you can keep up with what's going on there. Lastly, gentlemen, for those of you that are veterans, today I enrolled in a program called the Million Veterans, where they study. There are different studies about veterans from my era, the Vietnam era, all the way up until now. They cover everything from PTSD, uh, kidneys, heart, all kinds of whatever disorders that you may be dealing with as a veteran. And these research studies go to help other veterans. So anyone that is close to a VA hospital, go and check out your 1 million veterans. And if you can and are able, participate in the program. I think right now we have about a little over 900,000. So we will be approaching that number very, very soon. Uh, I'd like to thank our guest, Miss Malissa Smith, as well as the short interview with Mr. Tarver. And we look forward to talking to everyone next week, right here on the Pugilist Corner, presented by the Dog Pound. And you see this great gear that I'm wearing? Well, you can find this gear on Canine Boxing. Uh, any type of gear you need, I'm sure, from hand wraps, shoes, caps, shirts. Uh, I'm sure Canine can fulfill your needs. So, uh, big shout out to Canine. And also a shout out to Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant has been on the show many, many times. We appreciate him, his candor. And also, hey, Mr. Anthony Durrell, we appreciate your performances in the past. And, go out a winner, bro. That's all I can say. Go out a winner. Don't go out a hater. The better man won that night. You get a rematch. You might go a different way. But you know, uh, be a gentleman. Win, lose, or draw. You know, uh, this sport has given you a lot, and it deserves better from you, bro. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.